You sit into one of these cars and you were 15 years old when I first met you, 21.
An incredible journey. I've enjoyed every single moment of it, you know, meeting guys like you. You know, stuff can change in this sport, but I think the connections what you build with everybody is quite insane, and same with Ellie. You know, I looked up to this guy when I first came to a racetrack because I was a kid who raced karts, and you know, you go to an event and being a Red Bull athlete one day in this sport, and it's cool how far it progresses. So yeah, it's great moments for sure.
Ellie, do you remember the first time you met Connor?
Yes, first time was actually in Ireland. There was a national event on the nothing, and they were driving like hell, and I was like, wow, because like in more like Central Europe where we were driving, there was like some walls sometimes, but mostly like one wall, a track or something. Most of the tracks didn't have walls, so I was not used to seeing that. In Ireland, it was basically walls all around on the docks, and those guys just hanging it in, and I was like, oh, they are proper. And next time I saw him was Drift Masters 2018. He started the event at the age of 14. He ended the event with the age of 15, and in the middle step of the podium. This was crazy, like beating James Dean back then in Płock.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. This was like crazy, and yeah, well deserved. And I knew like there's a bright future ahead.
Would you say, Connor, that was a moment that really put you on the map?
Yeah, 100%, and it's kind of a funny story because I wasn't even supposed to be at that race. You know, I was late from this sport and all what follows, but it was a realization from my parents being like, oh, if you drive a national championship, it's actually going to cost more money than just putting it on the back of the truck where my brother was going to be driving in Europe. So I went there, and Thursday practice, I kind of just, honestly, I felt like I just became a different driver that weekend. It was kind of crazy, and it was nuts. It was the most insane, I think, night, bar, you know, probably winning a championship. It was definitely the night what kind of was like, wow, I don't even know how to explain this in words. And obviously looked up to James my whole life, and you know, never at 14, 15 would I even thought that I would have got the chance to battle, and never mind, you know, battle it out of one of the biggest competitions in Europe. So it was definitely the start of, I guess, putting my professional career on a platform.
Connor, I'm going to throw it to you here. I know from being young, like, you have that lack of fear when you're younger. Like, do you think it gave you that push to be able to, like, do you know what, that wall, I'm having it, I'm going in 60, no stress?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah, I kind of noticed that as I'm getting older. I'm trying not to. I'm not that old, but
welcome.
Yeah, I'm like kind of asking myself those questions. But you know, I think getting back to the point of like the future of the sport is like, it also comes back to you have more time. You know, when you're a 13, 14-year-old kid, you go to school, and you know, for me, my life was literally, you know, I guess at the turning point of my career actually was probably COVID, which was like actually
what's up?
I had nothing else to do. You know, I wasn't, you know, working from home. I wasn't doing anything, so I literally sat on my simulator, played until 4 a.m. every night, and woke up at 12 o'clock and got back on the simulator. So I guess, you know, it comes back to the you know, the generation now. And even for me, I think, you know, winning biggest championship in Europe last year, and probably the biggest tool, what I would say, of being able to do that is still the simulator. You know, it's laps and laps, and I see the guys coming up.
No, I'm playing from controller, I'm playing from PS5, from PlayStation,
having no fear,
not PC.
No worries, you know, you're just in a car and you're not questioning what's going wrong. And, you know, to see like Manoa in the States, you know, that's like, you're kind of, even for me at 21, being like, oh God, we're struggling right now, you know, like it's cool to see. But you know, I think, as I said, it comes down to having the time to be able to do that. But for me, it's still one of the biggest training tools is gaming and simulation as much as possible, and I think it's what helps when you get out on the racetrack.
So we're going to jump into the fundamentals of drifting right now. So this is the most succinct explanation of this sport, which sometimes can be quite difficult to explain, but when you see it's absolutely imperative. When you're on a drift track, your line is the thing that is going to have you sitting on that top spot or not, and then it is your angle. Like obviously when you're driving a car at home, you've got somewhere around 35 degrees of angle. We're talking full luck here, guys, almost 90 degrees whilst you're out there on a track. Now, Ellie, it is quite difficult to understand, but once you actually see it, you're like, ah, that is it. That makes total sense.
Yeah, like I think if you see drifting for the first time, you should, in my eyes, start with the qualification where there's only one car on track, and then you actually can compare the runs to each other, and you will instantly see, okay, this guy really filled the full outer zone in the first turn, so both wheels were in the zone all the way around. The other one maybe fell off halfway and stuff like that. So, and even like just a single car on track all of a sudden gets really exciting, because then you see, okay, little things, they make drifting so special. And like, as I said, like if you watch like 4 or 5 runs, you already will pick up where are the important points and pieces, and then obviously the fun starts when the battles go on. So yeah, this is even more spectacular.
Kind of don't you just love being asked that question? And you get asked that question, and everyone's like, what is drifting? And then everybody has their very own explanation. So I want to hear yours real quick. Elevator pitch. What is drifting?
I think to explain it, it's like you're in a battle, what you're trying to be the wildest driver ever, but to win you need to be the most calculated driver. So it's like you're fighting against each other the whole time. So, you know, I think if you have been interested in drifting and you fully don't understand it, I think it's for sure worth taking the time to like fully look into it, because as a person who watches drifting, if you understand that, it's way more enjoyable and it gives you a way better understanding of like, okay, that guy is doing something pretty impressive, or that guy is just sliding a car, you know. And I think the golden question, for me, when my friends are always making jokes, being like, it's 3 pedals and a steering wheel and a handbrake, and it can't be that hard, you know. And it's like, I laugh because, you know, a car at 100 mile an hour with, you know, millimeters between a door of trusting him and when he's going to brake, being able to read him, you know, you're doing stuff what reaction times needs to be absolutely insanely good. You're doing stuff you need to understand where grip is. You're feeling all different things, but you're going sideways. So, you know, a racing car driver will look and be like, oh, you've never felt what grip is in your life, and you're kind of like, okay, read 3 mile an hour at 100 mile an hour when you're a millimeter away from a door and see if you can not hit him.
So let's sort of talk about how your choice of vehicle reflects your personality. I mean, I've got a quote here from you, Ellie, actually.
Oh.
From brand new Lamborghini to old 190 Mercedes-Benz with Toyota Supra engines and Mazda MX-5 convertibles, if you can build it and it performs, make it yours and go. Can you tell us more about what it means to make it yours?
Yeah, like in drifting, I think this is one of the beauties, I would say, of the sport. There's not like a place where you go and just buy a drift car and it's finished and you just jump in and drive. Like it's very rare. Like I would say 95% of the teams here developed and built their car themselves. And so you can, while doing so, you can bring your personality into the build. Like some guys want to like drive maximum angle all the time. The other ones want to be super fast. The next one, I don't know, like something different. And this is the thing, like also engine-wise. Some guys like turbo straight 6. You have a SR20, 4-banger. The other ones want big V8s, natural aspirated, or with big turbos, or something like that. And this is like, and everything. And this is, in my eyes, very interesting, because like, if you look at like older motorsports, it's clear you want to have the fastest lap time, and there are so many approaches, and everybody or any team knows how to approach it.
So let's talk about your car that you've got here this weekend. Yeah. Can you describe it for me? Like, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What's unique about this one?
So there are many things unique about this car. It's a BMW F22 2 Series. It's actually the first ever built F22 Eurofighter from HGK. Cool. There was this iconic video like 7 years ago. I watched